Good morning. This is Mona, and this is my morning view today. Winter edition 2026. A little bit of flurrying, a little bit. The deck is covered in ice. There's a thin layer of ice, so I have to be very careful. Don't want to re-break my leg. Oh, all right. So today, my morning view, it is Wonderful Wednesday. Wonderful Wednesday. The day that I give God gratitude and thankfulness for things that He's taught me this week, or things that He's provided for this week, this year, this month, this decade, this life. And so I'm thinking about some of the things that I'm grateful for. I am grateful that I have a whole lot of sick days so that I can take off a day here or there to help my daughter who had just had surgery, who has a toddler, and is a toddler at that stage where she doesn't want to comply with anything. So there's that. And so I have a whole lot of sick days. And so I'm able to use a couple of them here and there. Been going there every day after work to help, to do whatever needs to be done, that, just to give Dad a break, and, Mom can't do anything right now. So just being able to have that availability to do that, because I don't work full time, because I work just like 2 minutes away, and my daughter works lives about 3 minutes away, so it becomes this driving distance. So I have this availability that not everybody has. Like when I was raising children and I was ill, there wasn't a lot of people that could help out and pick up the pieces around us. And so, other people had to step in. My husband's, captain, him and his wife took my daughter when I had to spend a week in the hospital getting surgery. And so that way my husband could perform his duties in the military and then, go and pick her up afterwards, because it was at a time that they weren't in the field. But there were times when my husband was away and couldn't just come back. So I understand when there's not a lot of resource in relationships that you can go and do something. There's sometimes that your hands are tied and you can't help out. There are times when my previous job, I commuted. I worked beyond the 8 hours a day for well over a decade. And so with that, I couldn't just take off. I was considered part-time for half of that time. Part-time, even though I was doing like 79 hours a week without, not 79 hours a week. Probably about 60 hours a week. And that was way more than full-time. And without a second break or without lunch, and a lot of times that was a space where the workplace abuse was in full force, and I did not have boundaries for that. But now I have this availability, and I have favor with my employers that they know I don't take advantage of anything. They know that I'm reliable, that I help. And so at this point, they're like, you know what, do what you have. I've been telling them, hey, I got to go do this. And they're like, do what you got to do. It's fine. You got the time. So I'm grateful. I am grateful that in this stage in life, this is where I'm at. And for the longest time, I wanted, I'm trying to think of the right word here. I wanted what's due me. What's due me. I worked hard my whole life, and I would like to have what's due me. But you know what? I am finding out that time is the most precious commodity that there is. And you start to realize that the older you get. So, I will take my availability. Thank you, Jesus. There's a few things that came up this week on the kind of political scale of things. That that I don't get political. I don't, I'm not, there are times when I bring up politics, but it's not in the sense of, oh, you need to think this way, That's not the point of it. And usually the point of it refers back to a biblical thought or concept. And so one of those things is, and it was a post or something. I don't know the platform that it was on, but apparently President Trump either posted something or he had somebody post it or something to that, or post it with his approval. And then he took the stance that he did nothing wrong, that he doesn't need to apologize because he did nothing wrong, because he didn't realize that at the end of it, it made fun of someone. And what it was about was, I guess, voter fraud. I did not see the video. I saw a little clip of it. That was it. So anyways, I don't know. I'm not going to put judgment on the man for posting something that made fun of somebody. He quite often makes fun of people as individuals. I don't know if he does. It was saying that it was against a race because these two individuals were of another race. However, was it towards these individuals or was it toward the whole race? Well, a lot of people were very offended, taking it that it was for the whole race. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to judge what his thought processes in that were, because I don't know him personally, right? I only know some of the things he says, which sometimes I'm like, have a little bit of wisdom here, dude. you just. So anyways, the situation is this. He did do something wrong. Whether he saw and knew what was being posted, and he's lying about it, which does not give him a good light at all. It's always better to come out with the truth, because the truth will be revealed. That's what the facts are. Truth will be revealed one day. They may not be revealed on this earth, but they will be revealed. And so, whether he knew about it, then he would be in the wrong, and he would be doubly wrong by lying about it. Or maybe, giving benefit of the doubt, he didn't know what it was. He just saw the beginning of it and was like, oh, yes, you may post that. Or, oh, I'm going to post that because that's just straight on what I believe concerning the first part of it. The wrong is that you didn't look at the entire video before you posted it. Oh, I have been guilty of this. I have been absolutely guilty before I started these morning views. When I was quickly looking through things and going, oh, that's worthy of posting. Yeah, I'll post it, before the video's even done. Or not considering the fallout of what that would actually mean if I posted that, What is my whole thought process? And if you're not careful about what you post or repost, it can come back and bite you in the butt. So that is my stand on that. Either way, he was wrong. Just, I don't know which camp of wrong he was in. But to say I've done no wrong, he needs to go back and look at where his wrong was. I say that to point the finger at me. To point the finger at you. For you to point your own finger at you. Where have we failed in quickly posting something quickly without thinking about the consequences? Which brings me to the next point. The next point is the Super Bowl halftime show. So the Super Bowl halftime show, I watched. I said, I wish they would have had subtitles there, because me personally, I would like to know what is being said, because I'd like to know what's being put into my brain, in my subconscious, that I don't, I want to know what's going in there. I don't want a message in there that I don't, is he talking about sex, drugs, and rock and roll? Let me tell you, there has been some halftime shows that I've walked out of the room. In the past, I've gotten up and walked out of the room. I'm like, no, I'm not filling my brain with this garbage. No, absolutely not. There are some that I've stayed and watched the whole thing and went, yeah, that was awesome. I'm pretty sure thinking, there was definitely some old rockers that brought it, right? So now I am a type of person that I like all types of music. All types. And I don't mind it being sung in another language as long as I know the song or what it's about, right? I just like to have that, thing. I listen to a lot of jazz, right? I love jazz. That's probably my favorite genre. Don't ask me my favorite artist. I am entertainment illiterate. So I'm not going to be able to tell you who sings what and what the name of the song is. I couldn't tell you that about rockers. That's why I didn't say what rockers they were at the Super Bowl, because I don't know. During the commercial at the Super Bowl, it had Backstreet Boys. It was like, I knew they looked familiar, but I couldn't tell you what band they were. And my daughter and my son listened to the Backstreet Boys back in the day. So yeah, there's this thing that when it comes to music, I enjoy music, but I'm not. There are times when I want to listen to certain types of music, like. I'm not a big opera fan. I'm not. But there are times when I enjoy hearing an opera. I went to the Phantom of the Opera, the musical. Didn't like it. I didn't hear the words. Now, that was because I needed hearing aids. And so it just all sounded mumbly to me. But I was like, I can't hear the words. So it's like, I can't enjoy this if I can't hear the words. And I kind of know what Phantom of the Opera is about, right? Even though I used to watch the silent version of Phantom of the Opera back when I was a kid. I'd go to the bookmobile. It was like once a month the bookmobile would come into town, park at the post office. You went in, you got some books. We got some 8 Super 8s or something, reels. I brought them home and watched them on the screen. So I watched a lot of the silent version of, I don't know if it was silent. It was silent to me because we didn't have a speaker on the Super 8. But anyways. that's just me. I want to know what's going into this. Okay? But I don't mind songs sung in another language. I remember 99 Left Balloons, you know, and then 99 Left Balloons. That's 99 Red Balloons song. I don't know how many of you would remember that, but it was a German band. It was a German band that sang the song in German. Now, I took German in high school, not Spanish, and that's why I don't know Spanish. I probably should have taken Spanish. However, I did live in Germany for 6 years. After, almost 6 years. After I got out of high school. Throughout my life. Okay? So, after I got out of the military, my husband went into the army, and we were stationed twice in Germany. So I got to use some little bits of German that I knew. I certainly was not fluent. And I can understand two Americans speaking German. I can understand most of a conversation when an American was speaking with a German. But when two Germans were talking, right over my head. Over my head. So we're talking about the Super Bowl being sung in Spanish. Okay? So I had just a little problem because I didn't get subtitles. I wanted to know what they were singing. But that's, like I said, me personally, that's just how I process things. And I have walked out of Super Bowl halftime shows before because it was like, I am not subjecting my brain to this. I did not walk out of this. It was actually quite enjoyable. I learned a lot of different things about, well, it wasn't that I learned, it kind of confirmed a lot of different things about their culture, right? A lot of different things about, their electricity's always going out. So, of course, they had guys climbing up on electric poles. We had a friend who lived in Puerto Rico during the hurricane. And older Marine, great guy. And they had no electricity for a long time. And it goes out quite a bit. So, learning all these things about the canes, the sugar canes and all that, without knowing what he was saying. I still in my brain want to know what he was singing. What were the words? What did the song mean? What was it about? Was it a national song? Was it a song that talked about their culture? I don't know. It showed the culture. And then at the end, when they were bringing out the flags, I knew it was a political statement concerning the immigration stuff. And truthfully, my thought about immigration is, okay, we have a responsibility to the hungry. We have the responsibility to the foreigner. We have a responsibility to help other people. You help our neighbors, right? Governmentally, they have a responsibility to keep their citizens safe, to maintain borders, to maintain order, to remove people that are not of, that are breaking our laws. Now, I'm going to make everybody angry today. Everybody. Because I truly believe that it is our responsibility to feed the hungry. It is our personal, not governmental, personal, to take care of people, to provide for people. It is the government's responsibility to take care of us in the sense of safety. Not take care of us as in give us food, and no, that's a personal responsibility that we neglect and have the government do for us. Going back to the reel or the post that President Trump is attributed to posting. I have family members that are part Puerto Rican. I have family members that are part Mexican. So I understand their pain, their hurt, their frustration with everything that's going on. There are a few things that have happened where innocent people were picked up. Who carries their papers around? Who carries documents? So anyways, if I looked different than I do, would I need to carry everything on me? My passport? Half the time I leave the house without my wallet. I just have, maybe my driver's license, maybe. Sometimes I forget it. And it's like, I don't have my driver's license with me. Eee! Happens. So my family members and my friends are hurting over things that are posted because it sounds right. It sounds good. It's like, yeah. We're going to watch an alternate Super Bowl because we don't want to be associated with them. That us, them thing. So it's that space where you're not thinking it through. You just hurt some friends that you really liked, but you forgot that they were part Puerto Rican or part Mexican or part Peruvian or part whatever, Colombian. And sometimes it's hard to mend those broken bonds. And more so than that, is it what Jesus would have wanted you to do? So the end of this halftime show, as they were bringing the flags, there was a large sign up above that said, basically, I'm not going to quote it because I don't remember exactly the words that were on it, but it basically said that love was stronger than hate. That love is stronger than hate. And it is. It's a good message. Here is the problem. And this is where I'm going to cause everybody to hate me right now. The problem is the definition of love. What the world's definition of love is quite different than the definition that God has of love. See, it falls under that problem with the American language that we spoke about, hey, my love for pizza, is that greater than hate? I really hate, but I gotta think of something I really hate. I used to hate coleslaw, but I'm starting to like it now. Cream corn! I used to love cream corn. I hate cream corn. It looks like barf. So anyway, is my love for pizza greater than, my hatred for somebody else? I really can't say that I hate anybody at this point. There's some people that I don't trust. There's some people that I would rather avoid, but hatred? No, I don't think there was. Believe me, there was a time when I did. There were some individuals, but yeah, that's not there anymore. Thank you, Jesus, that's not there anymore. For those of you who are just tuning in and you're finding out that today is Wonderful Wednesday and it's to thank Jesus, well, I want to thank Jesus that is not there anymore. I want to thank Jesus that I think more clearly when I post things. Are my thoughts always all there? No. Like yesterday, I was talking about a CD, and I think the person watched the short, but they were saying they didn't understand that I was talking about a certificate of deposits when I said CD. And in the shorts, I don't get specific on things. It's just a commercial to come back and watch the longer version, which you're watching right now. So make sure that you, if you're watching, YouTube that you subscribe right there. That's the subscribe button. If you're on Facebook, like, share, comment, then go over to YouTube and subscribe. Get all the bells and whistles. Like, share, comment on both platforms, and get the notifications, all of it. Our definition of love is very different. If somebody's doing something that can cause them harm, would you not go out and try to help them not to cause harm on themselves? At whatever cost it was for you to do so. Somebody tied themselves up on the railroad trestle and the train's coming. You're going to go out there and you're going to untie them and drag them off, even though they were trying to commit hara-kiri by themselves. But you're not going to let them do that. You're not going to let them jump off the bridge. You're not going to let them take drugs. You're not going to let them drink and drive. But you'll turn a blind eye if somebody calls it love. It's what it is. I'm not going to candy coat it. We love you enough to tell you that it's killing you. And the more you say hate is love, and you show more hatred towards those that you are saying are haters, then you're no different. You're no different. You are still a hater, not a lover. Because if you truly loved, you would love your enemies. If you truly loved, you would love your enemies. I'm talking to all counts of people right now. Told you, everybody's going to hate me after today. It sounds like a Feisty Friday. It isn't. It's because God's calling me to love. He's calling me to a higher level of vibration. And if you want to wallow down here, instead of raising the bar, you may have to look back and apologize to a few people for some posts that you have posted out of haste. Because when somebody comes and says a matter, it sounds right. Until the prosecuting attorney comes and says, what about this and what about that? You think that a person is telling the truth until the second person comes up and cross-examines. That's what the Bible says. Cross-examination. But we're so quick to think that this is the right thing that we post it. And then we hurt people we love. Or do we love them? So that's my morning view. Have a great day. Thank you. I think it was Leslie. She popped off. There she is. Linda. So thank you, Linda, for watching. This video will be uploaded tonight or tomorrow onto YouTube. So have a great day. I will see you tomorrow for Thirsty Thinking Thursday when I do my quasi-pseudo note-taking. That doesn't mean what I'm saying is quasi-pseudo. It's that my note-taking is quasi-pseudo. It's not. It's a kind of preparation, but really not a preparation for doing these morning views. All right. Blessings, everybody. Have a great day. I will see you tomorrow. Don't forget to go over to YouTube. All right. Blessings. Bye. And I got to figure out how to take off my glove. Nice. No, can't do it. Arr! It's the real R-E-A-L, not the R-E-E-L. Blessings. Bye. Where is it? Slow connection. It's not letting me.